Okay, so welcome to Tech Tuesday about Windows 10. What interest do you have in Windows 10? Why did you come here today?
I wanted to see if they, what they merged together between Windows 7 and Windows 8.
Great, excellent. Windows 8 and Windows 10 and Windows 7, how do they fit together? What do they look like? Great. Any other specific things?
I know Windows 7, I don't know Windows 8 so well, so I'm curious to see how much is different in 10 from Windows 7.
Hopefully only good things, only improvements. Anything else?
Will Windows 10 work with a cursor rather than a touch screen?
Yes. Okay, great. So we'll cover that a little bit. But first I want to point out that this is beta. What we're seeing today is software that's in beta, so they're still testing it. There will still be changes, and not everything works exactly the way you want it to work or you think it should work. This specific build, this is, by the way, free for anyone. Anybody with a Microsoft account, and it's super easy to get those, you just need a Microsoft email account, can sign up to download Windows 10 right now and test exactly what you see in front of you. So
you test it on its own system or on top of another operating system?
it is recommended that you do not use your work machine to test Windows 10. If you're going to test Windows 10, you can either take if you don't mind doing installation, you can take your hard drive from your new machine, take it out of your machine, set it aside, get a different hard drive, maybe a used older hard drive, and install Windows 10 on that. That way your own stuff, your real stuff is safe, and you can mess with this. I have this installed on a test machine in my office, and I'm just remotely connecting to it. So I'm actually using it, though, every day, so I'm really testing it, but I'm really committed to it.
What are the system requirements?
I'm not sure. I have it running on a 3 gigabyte laptop right there, and that laptop used to be running Windows 7. So if the machine will run Windows 7, it will likely run Windows 10. The machine in my office is an even older machine. I think it's 5 years old, and I think it was designed for Windows Vista. So Vista should work with 10 okay. So again, this is beta software, so try this at home, but don't try this with anything you really care about at home. The first thing, there's lots of changes. I mean, this looks like Windows. You've still got the X and the maximize and minimize buttons. And this thing should actually go away. This is the blue bar that says I'm connecting to a remote machine. But we start off with this notification panel. And this, as you can see, this tells you all about stuff that's happening with Windows and with your life. So here I've got my emails. I've got notifications of apps that I've installed. And it even gives me other stuff down here about my audio. And then it connects me, it has these quick links to various parts of the operating system. So I can get to my display preferences really quickly, right here, just like that. And of course, because I'm displaying remotely, it won't let me mess with any of these. But that brings us, so the notification panel is one of the new parts of Windows 10 that they've worked in. We're kind of going from right to left on this just because of the way the screen is set up and the way the features are. So that's the notification panel really quickly, a new place to look at all the stuff that's happening with your computer. Notifications that would normally pop up and then go away and you'd never see again, you can see them for a little longer now. All right, so Alt-Tab works just like it did before, but now you've got a bigger preview of stuff that's open on your computer, the Alt-Tab. And you've also got this new feature called Smart Snap. So I've got two windows open here. If I want to snap them to the side, it will automatically suggest, if I've got multiple windows open, it will suggest another window that I might want to open in full screen on the other half of the screen. So now I've got them both fully open so that I can compare notes if I want. I can type from one into the other so that I can see them both. So that's Smart Snap. The new control panel looks a little bit different than the traditional control panel, and they haven't implemented this completely. There are still places you can see the old control panel with the whole bunch of links and stuff, just like in Windows 7 and in Windows XP and in Windows Vista. But this control panel looks a little bit more modern and flat. So the icons look different, and they're organized a little bit differently, like that. So this is probably going to make it into the final build of Windows 10, a new look for the control panel.
When you first log in, what screen does it take you to?
That's a good question. The first screen you see, it takes you to the desktop. So with Windows 8, with Windows 8.1, they said, okay, not everybody's going to want to see the start screen, and so they gave you an option to go into the desktop or go into the start screen. Well, this time they just said, I'm going to actually talk about this in a little bit. That goes under the topic Continuum, actually.
The reason I asked is I was wondering how you get to control panel from start.
Very good. Yeah, so we'll talk about the start menu in a sec. Okay, so good question. You're thinking ahead. Awesome. So here's the system settings, and I had just opened that. You can open that through all settings down here. You can tie it to your taskbar, and it is also available in the control panel. So you can get to the system settings pretty easily. Okay, so that's new control panel. It looks kind of fancy, or it looks newer than it used to be. All right, universal apps. A universal app is one that will work either in tablet mode or in desktop mode. So you can tell a universal app because it's got this big, thick, solid bar across the top when you're in desktop mode. The idea, I believe, is when you're in tablet mode. So if you have a convertible computer that will go from tablet to desktop with a keyboard, or if it's just a slate tablet, it's just basically the screen, you won't see this bar across the top. So that's a universal app. Now in Windows 8 and Windows 8.1, you'd have a Metro app that would go full screen for you, and that's all it would do. It would take up the whole screen, or it would take up a part of the screen, and you could only pretty much use it conveniently in the touch interface. And then you had the regular legacy old Windows apps, and those you could only use from the desktop. So Microsoft is trying to harmonize them and sync them so that you have these universal apps which you can resize a lot easier in desktop mode. So universal apps is one of the newer features of Windows 10. All right, Spartan is the new Microsoft browser. So instead of Internet Explorer, they're tearing it down, and they're trying to build a better browser from scratch, and Spartan is the name of that project. It looks a little bit different than Internet Explorer. It looks like it's one of the new universal apps or a Metro app. So we could go to bing.com, and it comes up with our tab here, and there it is. See, this talks about Project Spartan. So Project Spartan, a new web browser. Who knew that people would be creating new web browsers nowadays instead of Internet Explorer? It should be faster and lighter. And hopefully more secure. Exactly. One of the other really neat features that I'm excited about in Windows 10 is this virtual screen. So here, I've got just one window open. I mean, you can see that I've got multiple things open here, but I've just got one window open on this screen here. If I click on this task view, it shows me that one window, but it shows that I've got multiple desktops. So if I'm working on a project and I don't want to get distracted, I can separate that window into its own virtual screen and switch back and forth when I want to go back to other stuff. On this other screen, I've got lots of other stuff open. I've got my several browser windows that I can open, but I can switch back to that single desktop just with one click, going to an app that's only open on that virtual desktop, virtual task.
That virtual desktop is just like the other desktop, can support multiple windows? Just for one?
Yep, you can open multiple windows on it. Let's open this screen cap that I did.
So it's just a way to organize.
So it's a way to organize. This has been available in Linux for years and years and years. Mac OS got it a few years ago, and now Windows is building it into the operating system as well. So I think that's pretty cool. And although it does possibly create problems for people who want to see what other people are doing, because it would be pretty easy to just switch between, oh, look, I'm working on my notes here, my task list, or my presentation outline, when in reality, in the other window, I'm surfing the web and making very exciting lab reservations for people. So task view shows you multiple desktops so that you can kind of organize your work a little bit better. All right, let's switch back. Another big one. So far we've been going right to left here. This is a new one, Cortana. How many have heard of Cortana? Awesome. Can you tell me what you know about Cortana?
Isn't Cortana, is it the voice interface?
Yeah. Cortana is available right now on Windows Phone 8. And the idea is you can just talk to your phone. You can tell, hey, Cortana, find a nearby restaurant. Or, hey, Cortana, what's my schedule today? Or what's the weather like today? And then the phone will talk to you. Well, Microsoft is building that into the operating system as a virtual assistant. And so you can have various things read to you. So Cortana is a search bar that lives on your taskbar, so you can just, when you want to search for something on your computer, instead of opening the start menu, you can, if you have it enabled, you can actually just ask, hey Cortana, where's my Word document? You can ask Cortana multiple things, and results will pop up here in this window. I just clicked on the link, and helpful stuff came up. So here we have news stories and weather. So right now the Cortana interface is not working as well as I would like to see it, and that's why I'm not going to demonstrate it. But I've tried it, I've said, hey Cortana, and sometimes she responds, sometimes she doesn't. So no demo on that today. But the idea is search on your computer and on the internet at the same time, and if you allow it, she'll even search your emails for you and your Word documents that you've created, which I think can be fairly useful. All right, so that's Cortana. And, yes, the Start menu, Mark, getting back to your question. So the Start menu looks kind of like a fusion between Windows 7 and Windows 8.1. You've got these live tiles which can update themselves throughout the day. You can rearrange these in any way you want, or most any way you want. You can resize them. If I don't want the Cortana search to be very big, I can just go here and I can say, I want this to be small. And it will make it small so that I can move it somewhere else so it doesn't take up as much room. So you can create these different areas. Oops. So you can create different areas in your Start menu if you want to have these large links to get to something. That's very useful if you are using it as if you are using a tablet, so you have something big to click on as opposed to something really small, like one of these text links. You can delete all of these tiles if you want, and then you end up with only this side of the Start menu. So it's much smaller, a lot like you'll find in Windows 7 or Windows XP. Much smaller taskbar Start menu so that it takes up less space. But another thing you can do is if you like the old Windows 8 Start menu, I kind of like it, just because it's big and so I don't have to scroll as much to find all my stuff. You can expand it and you can bring back the Start Screen method, so the full screen Start menu. So here I've expanded it and I have a lot less to scroll. I can still rearrange my tiles. There we go. And one of the other neat things is you can see kind of my desktop background behind the Start menu. I thought that was kind of cool. See, there's my little tiger. And when I maximize the Start screen, you can still see the tiger, so I can hit Escape and I can hit the Start menu, and it's still there. Pretty neat, I think. So does that answer your questions about the Start menu?
It does. Where's Control Panel from that?
Control Panel. Great. So I click All Apps, And then we scroll down to System, and I scroll past System. There we go, and there's Settings. And that brings you into the control panel. So control panel still available. If you click on certain things in the control panel, or if you're trying to access certain settings, because this is a beta, or I'm assuming because it's a beta version, you don't always get into that new control panel. Let's just see if I can find it. There we go. Windows System gives you a lot of the old stuff. And where was that? And there's the actual control panel. That's the old control panel. See, this looks just like it does in Windows 7. You can change the view so that it looks, so you can have the bigger icons. There we go. So exactly like Windows 7. I think they're migrating into the new control panel kind of thing, the system settings. So there's that. All right, so that's most everything. The one feature I can't demonstrate for you today, let's bring back my notes, is the Continuum. Now the idea behind Continuum is that it's a feature, so if you have a convertible, have you seen some of these laptops where you can flip this? So the laptop normally opens up like that, but these laptops open all the way up 100 or 360 degrees. So you so you've got the keyboard on the bottom facing down, and then the screen is facing up. So if you have one of those convertible tablets, Windows will automatically sense how your tablet is configured, whether you've got it in laptop mode or Continuum or tablet mode, and it will adjust various programs and settings for you. So it will, instead of opening up a window, one of the universal apps in windowed mode, it will make it full screen so that you have a little bit easier access to it, so that you don't have to scroll and move the window around. There are a few other things that it's supposed to do as well, and because I'm presenting, I've forgotten about those completely. But Continuum mode is supposed to make it easy for you to switch back and forth between using your machine as a tablet and using it as a laptop or a desktop. So, 9 or 10 features of Windows 10. These are going to change a little bit, probably, as we get towards the summer. Windows 10 has been announced by Microsoft as free for 1 year after they launch it for anybody who's running Windows 7 or running Windows 8 or even running Windows Phone 8. So you'll be able to upgrade your more modern devices or more modern operating systems, your devices with more modern operating systems for a year for free to the latest Microsoft operating system.
When do you expect 10 to be out on new computers?
They have been saying that that will happen in the summer. Now the summer is 3 or 4 months, so that could be any time from June to August, really. I'm guessing July, but I don't work for Microsoft, so I have no idea.
That's when they're releasing 10.
That's when they're releasing 10.
And what about CC deploying 10 on computers?
I am not in charge of that, but my guess is that we're not likely to deploy Windows 10 on any new computers until at least after December of this year. Just a standard practice is not to upgrade to the latest and greatest recently released software until after it's had a time to mature and to have other people find bugs and have it break on them so that we can benefit from their lessons learned.
So I'd be wise to wait until New Year's to buy a new computer.
If you want a new computer with Windows 10, yes. The nice thing about buying a new computer right now would probably come with Windows 7. That Windows 7 is, of course, then almost assured to be compatible with Windows 10, and you would get that free Windows 10 upgrade. Now, Microsoft, I assume, is working to make it so it's super easy to upgrade to Windows 10 and keep your current programs. But I don't know exactly what the upgrade cycle will look like for people who just want to download the free upgrade and install it. So, yes, you can wait, but if you need a new computer now, you really don't have to, because you will have at least 1 year from the time Windows 10 is released to claim or upgrade your computer to Windows 10. Other questions? If you'd like, you can come down and I can sign into that laptop so you can touch Windows 10 yourself. It's not a touch screen, but you can still kind of mess around with it and see what it's like. All right, thank you for coming.